Darjeeling is crazy. I have never heard UK drill mixed with R&B in any context before. So,
Yeah.
I mean, leave it up to Twix to put harp on a drill beat and have it still work. So,
Yeah.
yeah, a testament to I think to her ingenuity as an artist to pick out a beat like this and to put everyone in the right places to get that to work. Because mixing those two kind of sounds, it could sound horrible if you don't do it the right way. But I think she did.
Let me put you on game.
Let's get into our last topic of the day. Let's talk about FKA Twigs with her new project, CAPRISONGS. If you're not familiar with FKA Twigs, she is a genre bending artist from the UK. She is most famous for her dancing, her unique videos, and her very eccentric sound. I don't think there's anyone that's really quite like her. But let's get into this new project. What do you think about it? What are your overall thoughts about CAPRISONGS?
Um, I can see why FKA Twigs is genre bending. As well, she's a genre bending performer and has a lot of buzz surrounding her artistry. This is kind of like my first project that I've really sunk my teeth into by her, and and I've only really heard the song Cellophane that you had on your playlist a few years back now, and that kind of introduced me to her. I'm like, okay, who is this person? She has some interesting art covers, interesting videos, moves very well, but I can really see her spirit in this project. And as she plays with themes of like rebirth and reconnecting with one's inner peace, I thought it was really interesting, even though it's a mixtape, that there is some type of central theme that is connecting a lot of the songs as well as the production. Um, and yeah, there's a consistently spacey aesthetic that is felt throughout a lot of this project that I think is emblematic of her style, and I like it. It was nice. It was a nice departure from the usual. I like to say that a lot about these projects, but this is definitely a departure, to say the least, for me.
Yeah, it's very glitchy and jittery, and it's really all over the place in a lot of different ways, but it still works, I think, to me. I really like it. I really enjoyed the project. I enjoy Twigs's music. I have for I guess the last like 6, 7 years that she's been out. She never fails to experiment or to surprise me with the direction she goes in sonically. And I don't think this is any different. I think this is probably her most accessible work, maybe overall. um, it's tough to say. I think it's probably her most open and her most free. She's a little bit more artsy on some of her other
Mm.
projects, I think. But to get into the track list, Ride the Dragon, I thought that really sets the tone for what you're in for with the really jittery production, and it really sets you up for what the sonic landscape of the album is going to be. And I love how the melody and the intricacy of the production builds over the course of the song. And that leads you right into Honda. I love how she incorporates these operatic vocal harmonies in the background. And I like the chant-like distorted vocals on the chorus. They're really off kilter, but they're catchy. And then that leads me into Meta Angel. And I really like the bass on that one. It's a real contrast to the really pretty falsetto on the chorus, and it's a song that has an interesting concept about her asking an angel essentially to help her in an effort to be more confident and to be a more sure version of herself. And she wants this angel to fight like the voices of doubt in her head. But it's a really strong opening, and it really gives an insight into, I guess, for like a new listener, for what her sound is like, even though all three songs are completely different.
Yeah, no, definitely. Ride the Dragon kind of gave me. I like the Japanese flutes that gave it a very East Asian vibe to me, and it was couple that with the title of the song. I'm like, okay, Ride the Dragon, that's smooth. I kind of get what you're doing conceptually here with the sound, with the flutes, with the spacey percussion, and then like you said, the deep bass in Hondo, featuring Pa Saliu, with like the jungle. I call it jungle drum percussion because it's very deep, mixed with the piano keys. It created a really nice sound that you could really flow with. And I like the steady flows that FK Twigs as well as Saliu brought to that song. And Meta Angel, I felt was like very ethereal, and it was right in line with the title of the song, where she is a meta angel, and it has that very open angelic vibe in the beginning, but then it gets kind of gritty, and you see her exploring the things that are kind of holding her back from rebirth in a way. So yeah, it was like a really gritty, grounded, ethereal experience, which I thought was fascinating. And I guess something that only really she could pull off effectively. Going into, Tears in the Club featuring The Weeknd, it was kind of a by the numbers feature for The Weeknd, but it still goes. It carries similar production notes from the songs prior, but it wasn't as experimental, which I thought was interesting. How I think she kind of like held back that experimental edge to, incorporate an artist like The Weeknd, but it was still spacey. The Weeknd being the king of catharticism himself, talking about a song like Tears in the Club, and you're crying in the club and being emotional. I'm like, yep, this is right up his alley. I can see why they brought him in for this song. It was still upbeat and engaging. Going into Oh My Love, it's kind of an ode to a one-sided relationship that she expresses, feelings and putting yourself out there without reciprocity, which I thought was nice. The song it landed okay for me, but it wasn't particularly good for my taste. And then going into Pample Mouse, it was a cool interlude that kind of left me curious for like a fully actualized version of the song, because I thought that there were some things that they did here and there that was nice. So it would have been nice to see maybe a fully fleshed out version of that song. And then, another interlude going into Light Beamers. It was a really slow introduction. I like the piano keys in this part of the song. And it's made really impactful by the chorus. She is kind of trying to connect with her audience, and I think she lands, explaining to them that rejection is ultimately okay, and that, you can pick yourself up from experiences and move on, which was a nice sentiment. And yeah, so this stretch of the album was so for me. What were you thinking about it?
I liked it a lot. This is one of my favorite stretches. I think Tears in the Club is like a certified hit for me. It's one of my favorite songs of the year so far. I think it's super catchy, but it's still very much her style, with the very subtle glitches in her vocals and in the production. I think the keys are really impactful on the chorus, and it's a really great ending to the song. The way they kind of crescendo, the pacing of it, I really enjoyed that. I think her and Weeknd work really well together. I think this is their first collab, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. Especially coming off of the Weeknd review last week. I think it was just cool to hear him again, because I knew they dropped the single, but I hadn't listened to it yet until the project came out. Oh My Love, I liked a lot. I like the really plucky string work throughout the track. It mixes well with that almost kind of like wave crashing chord in the background. The lyrics are simple, but I think they really sell the unrequited love that you were talking about. Like something as simple as her saying, like, you want to waste the day and I want to spend the night. Like, I don't know. I like it's kind of like poetic in a way. I like little flips of wordplay like that. Pamplemousse, I guess, is how you pronounce that. I don't know. We're both going with different pronunciations, but I just like a really hectic but enjoyable little ditty from her. Basically, I don't think there's anything too notable about it, but I mean, it's not skippable for me. I enjoy it as a transition on the album. Light Beamers, I like the chorus here. I think she has some of the most heavenly but also vulnerable vocals in pop music. I think she has a really nice, sweet falsetto that she uses really well throughout the album, and it really works well with the harp in the background. We gotta talk about Poppy Bones though. Like it's a complete flip from all the other sounds on the album. I really love her take on dancehall music. She slides into the genre effortlessly and really seamlessly, but she does it in her own way. Like, of course, you still see like the little blips in production, and it's not. She doesn't go all of the way like into the genre in terms of the catchiness. She still injects her own style into it, which I think is a very good way to do something like that.
Right.
Which Way featuring Dystopia, I really like the way her vocals cascade on that. It's a kind of off-kilter song, but I enjoy it. And Jealousy, she just slides into another genre with a really Afrobeats influence track. It works really well in the flow of the album, which I think is a real testament to her talent and her style being so diverse. And then that goes right into Careless with Daniel Caesar. which is another really nice change of pace coming off of a track like Jealousy, but a really beautiful, beautiful song about being vulnerable with someone that you really love. And
Yeah.
Daniel Caesar, I know he's essentially been canceled for for the past couple of years, but it still sounds good to my ears on the song, to be honest. Where he takes it vocally, I think it really works really, really, really well. And they both really sound amazing and they float on that. But yeah, really strong section for me.
Yeah, no, this is definitely one of my favorite sections as well. I thought Poppy Bones was really fun. It was infectious. I love the horn elements, the piano, the dance hall influences. I can see myself busting a line to it. You know what I mean? Especially that third portion of the song where I think the song really kind of takes off. It was really enjoyable. Which way with the fast-paced percussion, there's like a warpy synth kind of sound that is on this as well as the next song. And I thought it came together for a nice fast-paced beat. It still was a bit much for my taste, but I kind of had fun. It wasn't landing for me 100%. I think because there's sometimes with him, there's too many things happening at once. Especially for me to keep track of. Maybe if I like step back a little bit, it's easier to enjoy it. But I remember hearing it the first time. I was like, okay, there's a lot going on. I couldn't really focus. And I tried to focus, and I'm like, okay, no, there's still a lot going on. I can't really focus. So, but it's short. So then going into Jealousy, where again, more warpy synths combined with, the synchronized singing of the two, I thought went for a nice little transition. Rema is one of my, favorite Afrobeats artists, and I like just the ebb and flow of the song, with lines like wanting to see the sunshine over her brightest side, which was juxtaposed to the themes of jealousy with one's lover. So I thought it was cool what they were doing with this song. And then, Careless, really, really smooth song. Daniel Caesar, he did a great job. The background piano melody, the song is very erotic if you were paying attention to the lyrics as well as the high notes that Daniel had towards the end of the song. It was nice. I like this song. Then going into the Minds of Men, I found her poetry in this song was just brilliant. The line, great minds of men will fall down with nature's peace of a woman's profound, love and death is compound, intertwined be wisdom abound. I was like, whoa, okay. I was really feeling this track. Then going into the Track Girl interlude, just another, interlude. And I wasn't feeling some of the interludes on the album, or, it was so for me. I think it was nice in terms of just hearing artists and, their friends and kind of the lifestyle. I feel like it grounds them and makes them more approachable. But then, going into the last stretch with Darjeeling, I really like the drill beat tempo with the harp-like instrument in the back. It created a really unique sound experience. And, the across the pond flow from Unknown T and Georgia Smith's vocals really made a good song. So this was a lot of fun for me. And then finally, the thank you song with the stunning admission in the end. It was really open and honest for FKA Twigs to kind of talk about the things that she was struggling with in terms of like self-worth, mental health, suicidal ideations. But it was a really thoughtful and interesting expression towards her fans and for those that kind of care for her well-being and her success.
Yeah, it was a really good closer. I really enjoyed Thank You Song. Minds of Men, I think you spoke on it well. It's kind of Twigs standing in the middle of the picket line between men and between women to essentially say that she wishes that men would be more vulnerable and how that could better their ability to be able to relate to women, and how hard she understands that being masculine and being a man can be. But she also calls on women to be more open to this process of men being more vulnerable. And I think she's kind of standing in the middle and saying that, she wishes these things for the betterment of the relationships between the two genders. So I thought that that was probably one of the deeper parts of the album. And like you said, it was really beautifully written as well. Darjeeling is crazy. I have never heard UK drill mixed with R&B in any context before. So I mean, leave it up to Twix to put harp on a drill beat and have it still work. So yeah, a testament to I think to her ingenuity as an artist to pick out a beat like this and to put everyone in the right places to get that to work. Because mixing those two kind of sounds, it could sound horrible if you don't do it the right way. But I think she did. And I think it's a really interesting listen, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of her strongest projects, and I think she really did her thing with this one. But let me get let's go 3 favorite tracks. Let's make it a little difficult this week.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. For me, I guess I'll go Careless, uh Poppy Bones, and I would, I guess Tears in the Club. You know, I was giving it some flack, but I do like the song overall. So yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Um, I'll go Careless, Tears in the Club, and Oh My Love. But I think I can make an argument for a couple other ones. But
Yeah,
if you
let's
had
see.
to recommend this on a scale of a hard pass to must listen to our listeners and to our watchers, what would you say?
So I'll preface this by saying, like, I thought that the album sonically was consistent and spacey, and some of the ideas that she presented, because of the jitteriness of her production style and the style of music, it kind of just threw me off in some ways. I don't think it was a bad project, but I can say it's not really my taste overall. I think that she does make really solid music, though. The sound creation I thought was still impressive from a technical standpoint, and I understand why there's a lot of buzz surrounding her. For me, I think most people should give it a shot. Um, and I think that most individuals can kind of decide for themselves whether they like it. I like a lot of this album, but there's a lot of the album that is just kind of so for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I think she leans very far left of center. So even though there are R&B aspects to her music, I think it's just as much like electronic and experimental music in there as well. So I think that it's not necessarily for everyone. Um, I guess I'll go a bit above that and say I would say highly recommend. I think it's a really interesting project. Um, it's not for everyone, but I enjoy it enough to say that I can highly recommend it to someone who it may be for. Um, it's a project that may grow on me, so I mean, don't be surprised if it ends up on my year-end list, 11 months from now. But yeah, I think for right now, I'll go highly recommend because I seem to enjoy it a little bit more every time I listen to it. I'm on my like fifth or sixth listen, so I think I enjoy it a little bit more every time. But yeah, I would say it's an album that I highly recommend. A good album from a really good artist that I enjoy. We're stretching your ears a little bit with the podcast, but yeah, I'm glad you're able to find a few things on it that you were able to appreciate.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I'm sure it's not the last experimental project that we're gonna be listening to this year. So it's good to kind of stretch my palette, if you will.
For sure. Yeah. But that'll do it for the album review of FKA Twigs's Capra songs. Let us know what you thought about the album, whether you thought it was a hard pass, we're not missing much, if we should give it a shot, highly recommend or must listen. How do you feel about her newest offering?